Alright, so Roy and I are starting our little trip, starting out on Delmarva and making our way down to Virginia. And right off the trail, he spotted this beautiful box turtle just out basking after the storm. First reptile of the day. I'll take it. Alright, so second piece of tin that Roy and I flipped. And this handsome devil's under there. Look at that beautiful hognose.
Oh my God.
Wow. Look at that color.
Second piece.
Wow. Second piece of tin flip today. It's okay, buddy. You don't gotta hiss.
Yeah, no need.
Awesome. That is so cool. Look at this guy. That is a beautiful snake. Wow. Look how he's like got a mix of orange and yellow.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
You are so handsome.
Stay close. Remember, I know you don't want to be touched. Don't play dead. Just like that.
It's okay. All right, right after that hognose, we found this racer.
Relax.
A little bit in shed, but
little normal racer activity.
yeah, pretty cool.
With the pee-pee.
All right, enough pictures.
Come on, bud.
Go ahead, get back under there, or
There you go.
awesome.
Snake 2.
All right, and then snake number 3 for the day. Another racer. This one's a lot bigger.
And fired up.
So we're holding this guy up high. That tends to make racers calm down a little bit more. When we dangle them, that's when they're usually like, okay, time to start biting a lot. And he probably still will strike, but it's not as much. But this one's not in shed, and it's bigger than that other one we found. But hasn't even been 10 minutes, and we found a box turtle, a hognose, and 2 racers. So this day's off to a good start. So
Here he goes.
we're walking back up, and this guy is right on the trail. We spooked him a little bit, and he played dead. He's starting to come back. 2 hognoses, same spot. It's just unreal. He's back to life, but he won't flip over all the way. As you can see, he's got a lot of beautiful orange on him. This is just so cool. So we got the best footage we could of that hognose, but I mean, my hopes were low because he was crossing the trail and I saw him as he was going off, and I kind of dove on him. So I knew that he was going to play dead right away. But I mean, we just started herping today, and we're at a box turtle, 2 racers, and 2 hognoses.
Hell of a start.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Me too.
See what else is out. All right, and to add to the day, we're on our walk back up, and there's a rough green snake. That is incredible. Good eye, Roy. So this day's shaping up just to be the best. I mean, this rough green snake is so chill right now. If you're wondering what that was on his face, it's like a drop of water. But that is awesome. This is a sub-adult right here. They get a little bit thicker than this, but it's my first rough green of the year. I'll take it. This guy was heading this way, so we're just gonna let him go on these branches, and
Be about his.
he will become invisible.
That's so awesome.
Oh, I love it.
What a day.
All right, snake number 6 today. Roy just grabbed a racer. Awesome. All right, didn't have time to get pictures of this guy on the ground, but just a real tiny box turtle that was about to get squished. There was 2 different cars coming by, but he's all shelled up. But that's 2 box turtles today. So Roy and I are on our way to our last Delmarva spot, and we found this unit crossing the road. And this is not a super busy road, but there's a decent bit of traffic on it. But this is a nice rat snake. This is every bit of 5 feet. This is exactly the kind of rat snake you want to find. He was a little bit fired up being on the warm pavement. I mean, he opened his mouth once, but he didn't bite or anything. This is a good looking snake. Awesome. Alright, so we just found this racer. He's got some stuck shed on his mouth. This is racer number 4 today. But he was next to this piece of wood we were about to flip, and then he went under there. So, pretty cool. Healthy looking snake. Hey, stop that. Alright, so we're getting torn up by mosquitoes in this forest, but we just found another racer under this tin. Probably the best looking one we found all day.
Yeah.
So for day 2, I pretty much am just going to do a voiceover for this. Where we were at was a very populated area, just a lot of people outside that day, and I really just couldn't record anything without anybody walking past and saying, "What are you looking at?" But this was our first find of the day. It was a nice broad-headed skink just out getting some sun early in the morning. Here's a little bit better of a look at it. Our first herp of the day was actually a baby spotted turtle, but it was just way too far away for me to even get any type of good footage. But this was a nice start. And then not long after that, as soon as we got on the trail, I found this really good looking eastern rat snake. It was just basking along this cypress swamp edge right here. And so we picked him up, got a few good pictures of him, and let him on his way. But it was nice to see something out within like the first 10 minutes of us hiking. That was definitely a plus, so was hoping that it would just get better from there. And then not even 5 minutes after that rat snake, we spotted snake number 2 of the day. This was our first plain-bellied water snake. This was just an in-situ shot, but we eventually got hands on him. As you can see, he's a little bit busted up. He's got a nub tail, probably a snapping turtle or something that bit it off, or maybe a bird of prey. And he's just got a few scars on him, but I love these guys. They're my favorite Nerodia. We have them on the Delmarva Peninsula, but I have only found a DOR before, and they're just not nearly as common. But once you get down to like Southeastern Virginia, and even over into like the Carolinas, they start becoming a lot more common. But yeah, just a beautiful species of Nerodia. Like I said, they've got that bright orange belly here in the southern mid-Atlantic and the beginning of the southeast. I know out in the Midwest they start to, I think, get a little bit more of a yellow belly, but this guy was a good second snake of the day. So we let him go right there to head back into the cypress swamp. These guys are always eating frogs and fish and a bunch of other stuff. And then our third snake of the day was this beautiful copperhead. Roy and I were actually hiking kind of on the outskirts of the trail, and we heard this woman scream as she went by on her bike, so we figured she had to have saw a snake. And we came out, and I thought this was a smaller cottonmouth for a minute because it's so dark. But as soon as I saw the blotched pattern and basically just the look of the head and everything, copperheads and cottonmouths really don't look that much alike in the face. I was like, that's definitely a copperhead. But yeah, I was just amazed at this dark pattern here. But this one was a little bit hard to get to sit still for pictures, and again, there were a lot of people running by, but we eventually got a few good shots. And then right after that copperhead, we saw plain belly water snake number 2 of the day. This was a little bit better looking one. Again, just out there basking, catching some rays. And then not long after that, we saw another copperhead, and this one had that really dark pattern too. This one Rusty spotted right off the trail, just basking here along this log. But yeah, like I said, we are not used to seeing copperheads with this dark of a pattern, but you see right here, he didn't take his eyes off me. My first venomous snakes of the year finding these guys, so that was pretty cool. And then right here, from a distance, that's plain belly water snake number 3. So these guys were definitely our most common find of the day, which we expected. Like I said, they tend to be a lot more common in this area, actually more common than northern water snakes, but pretty cool. And then, believe it or not, this was our third copperhead of the day. This was all within like 45 minutes of each other. And this one, I mean, it's basking along like a swamp edge right here, almost an ambush position, just like a cottonmouth would. So just really cool behavior to witness. And then on our hike back, we found plain belly water snake number 4. So again, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just so cool finding these guys. This was probably the biggest one we found of the day. This one's got a decent bit of size to him. I've found some big ones before, definitely bigger than this, but just like a lot of Nerodia, they get really heavy bodied, so awesome finding 4 of these guys. And then we found this little mud turtle crossing the path. He was already across, we just kind of took some pictures, and then a few minutes after that we found this worm snake just out on the crawl. It's always neat finding these common fossorials just out on the move, because usually you're finding them other logs and stuff, but that was really neat. So after we took a break for lunch, we started to hit another part of this area, and that's where we found our first cottonmouths of the day. There was this one on the log right here, and then right down here in the log next to him, there was another one basking. These were the only 2 we found of the day, but we were pretty excited about that because this is really the only part of the mid-Atlantic where you can find cottonmouths is southeastern Virginia. I mean, I wish we had them up north. You'll hear some people that aren't herpers swear that they've seen water moccasins, but those are all just tall tales. This is the only spot in the mid-Atlantic you find them. Then as you go down into the Carolinas and the rest of the southeast, they become a lot more common, but still a really cool find. Definitely a target. This was the only spotted turtle of the day I was able to get a decent picture of. He, of course, doesn't have any spots, but if you look carefully with my horrible phone imaging here, you can see kind of his orange head, so that was really neat. And then right here, this was our second rat snake of the day. I think Rusty spotted him going off the trail here. A little bit bigger than that first one that we found earlier in the day. But, I mean, still an awesome find. The ones down here in southeastern Virginia we find kind of have a little bit different of a pattern than the ones we have back on Delmarva and in New Jersey and the rest of Maryland. But still an awesome find. One of my favorite snakes. And then to round out the day, we found this almost microscopic ringneck just hustling across the trail. Pretty cool find. This was my first time finding a ringneck at this spot, so I can just add it to the species count. But what a great day herping. Like I said, it was really cool to get to meet up with Roy and Rusty and Cameron, you know, and just get 2 full days of just non-stop herping. Really awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.